Guys, how's it going? It's Al. Welcome to the Thanksgiving First Look. You're going to be sitting there, you're going to be eating food, hopefully not talking to the people that you don't want to talk to, but you're going to have some great ways to ignore everybody because you're going to have a fantastic DraftKings lineup on the 3-game slate that they have set for this Thanksgiving and Turkey Day. So while you gather around the warming glow of the television, watching football and not talking to people who might trigger you at Thanksgiving in one way or another, here's the first look that I've built for you. We're going to take a look at all 6 teams at play. 3 big spread games, nothing under a touchdown right now. We're going to talk about them in just a second. So thank you guys for being here. There is not going to be a cheat sheet for the Thanksgiving slate. The reason I'm not doing a Discord cheat sheet for the Thanksgiving slate is because with 6 games, it would literally just be, here's all the players from the slate. Doesn't quite make sense to do a cheat sheet. But if you wanted to discuss the slate in our Discord, smizzle.tv/Discord, there's a VIP section. You can subscribe here on YouTube, become a channel member, smizzle.tv/join, or you can go to the Discord, smizzle.tv/Discord, and become a member there. There are subscriptions within the Discord. It makes the verification process a whole lot easier if you just subscribe on Discord, and you'll have plenty of people to discuss strategy for cash and tournaments all throughout Thanksgiving week and for every slate as well. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and let's go.
He's a legend.
The Week 12 Smiz Gang Listener League is a main slate listener league, just like it is every single week for the 10-game slate that kicks off on Sunday. It is 3 max. It is $10 to enter, $40,000 in the prize pool, and absolutely no rake. You cannot find it in the lobby. You've got to go to the link tree. Smizzle.tv/links will get you the league link for you to join. Let's make sure that we fill it so they don't make it smaller as the weeks move on along, and I will shout out the winners on the recap video. Comes out every single Monday on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel. The link to that is also in the link tree, smizzle.tv/links. So while you're building your Thanksgiving lineups, go reserve or put a dummy lineup in the Smiz Gang Listener League right now. Let's take a look at this slate. Let's go game by game. I am contractually obligated to talk about all the teams on this slate, although the state of Wisconsin is currently very upset about me. They're very upsetty spaghetti. I'm going to talk about all. Let's go through all 3 games first of all. Lions favored by 7.5 over the Packers. 46.5 is the total there. Good game environment in a good weather spot also. That's great. Commanders against the Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 11 against the Commanders. They cannot command any defensive linemen away from their quarterback, unfortunately. 48.5 the total here. The Seahawks, this is providing a great value opportunity for us in this game. We'll get to it later. Against the San Francisco 49ers, who are favored by 7. Seahawks and 49ers have a total of 43, the lowest totaled game on the slate. So let's start with this game, and let's start with Green Bay. Am I allowed to talk about Jordan Love? Can I do that? Is that all right with you guys? Jordan Love is an up and down player. He's 5,500. He allows you some salary relief on a slate where you can take a look at all the quarterback prices. And of the starters, he's the lowest priced one. They do project to play from behind in this game as 7.5 point dogs. Unfortunately, I kind of believe that based on, this is just my opinion at this point, that Green Bay, as a team that has allowed a lot of efficiency to opposing teams on the ground, that Detroit is going to try and pound the rock constantly as much as they possibly can with their 2 very talented running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. If they play from ahead at all, this could be a very slow environment. And though it should be a passing game script for Jordan Love and the Packers, they may not get enough plays to actualize it. There is injury news on this team with Aaron Jones having, his ACL is intact, so that's good news, but I'm not thinking they're going to roll him back out there 4 days after the incident, which basically means that now we have all the A.J. Dillon that we can eat at 5,400. He's going to get a ton of volume. Not that he was doing anything with all of that volume that he got earlier this season in all the games that Aaron Jones missed, but you're talking about like all the snaps, 90% of the running back touches. There's just nobody else. So if you want to play a running back who does get utilized in the passing game, right? It's not like he doesn't at all, but not enough and not predictably enough. These games are games that they played from behind. The last time he squared off against Detroit in Green Bay, they lost 34. He had 1.1 fantasy point. Awesome. So yeah, if you want to go after a high volume running back for a cheap price, there's your outlet. I don't think that it's super necessary. The pass game is something I would much rather focus on in this game. Romeo Doubs, one of the league leaders in terms of end zone targets. He has responded with 7 touchdowns on the year. Love does a great job of finding him. Christian Watson finally found pay dirt this week after getting an awful lot of red zone looks, like 9 over the past 5 or 6 weeks. I forget exactly what the time frame was for that, and then finally cashed in on one. Love and him just don't have that connection right now where he's not delivering the ball on time and on target to Watson, though he is targeting him in the end zone, which are the highest volume targets that we can get. We've seen an uptick in terms of snaps, routes run, everything for Jaden Reed. The problem with this situation is that with that trio at wide receiver and Luke Musgrave, nobody has really separated themselves, and all of them are values. So if you're building through Love doubles because you think that, you know, they're going to have to throw, none of the passes, like Dylan probably isn't going to get more than 4 targets in most games. So now you can easily double through 2 of Doubs and Watson and Reed, and triples are fine. This is a super short slate, so a lot of rules are out the window. And Musgrave, you have to hope that he can be somewhat efficient. In some games he's been efficient, and some games he has been completely inefficient. 108, 71, 115, 72, 32, 69, 123, 113. So like he's a box of chocolates right now, and you just don't know what you're gonna get. When it comes to Detroit, especially Detroit at home, you do know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a lot of points, and it's gonna go through the usual suspects. I mentioned on the recap video, and if you have not checked that out, go to smizzle.tv/FF. It'll subscribe you if you are not already subscribed, and check out the recap video. I set a lot of money on fire this week. Goff at home is the narrative always, although I don't think that Goff at home versus on the road is really what we should be looking at. He did not have a great game this week, throwing 3 interceptions early in that game and got kind of bailed out by his running game and that defense against Chicago. Chicago looked awfully good against them this week. Jahmyr Gibbs still maintaining the higher volume role, 21 points, and the higher value role in terms of DraftKings scoring, with full PPR, 1 target equaling 2.3 times the amount of expected fantasy points than a rush attempt. This is great usage. 14 to 20 attempts for Jahmyr Gibbs. I haven't seen the snap report from yesterday yet. But after all the turnovers early, they pivoted hard into the running game late in that game, and David Montgomery kind of got there. You want to play 1 or 2 of these guys, I'm fine with it. Jahmyr Gibbs really priced up at 6,800 specifically for this slate. Not in general. 6,800 is not a lot for a running back with his sort of workload, but on this slate, 6,800 is kind of a lot for a running back. 8,500 for Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've made it somewhat difficult, especially with the defense pricing, and there's no real punt wide receivers just yet. If you want to pay for Christian McCaffrey, and judging by the thumbnail, I'm going to force Christian McCaffrey into this one, it's going to be tougher to get guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, to get guys like CeeDee Lamb. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been fantastic this year, basically just an every week guy. 23.5 fantasy points per game, always gets usage in the red zone and end zone between the 20s. He's the only reliable pass catcher that they have on the outside for fantasy purposes. Professional wide receiver Josh Reynolds getting pushed down the list. Jameson Williams is good for 2-3 targets a game. He has not shown the ability or the acuity to be able to have a full route tree. He is basically being used situationally as a 3rd wide receiver. Khalif Raymond runs around a little bit. They are so not convinced that Jameson is the guy that they went out and got Donovan Peoples-Jones and are kind of easing him into work as well. The secondary targeted pass catcher on the team that's not Jahmyr Gibbs would be Sam Laporta. 5 targets the last 2 weeks after tremendous volume the previous 6. There's all of your players basically on Detroit, in my opinion. Moving on to Washington, Dallas. As we said before, the Cowboys are favored by 11, facing the team that has allowed the 2nd most sacks on the season, and their defense is only 3,800. So kind of a value. This on a main slate would be somewhere around 4,400. You could fit Dallas if you wanted to. You might have to make a little bit of a concession here or there. We know that they're a defense that can break a slate, especially a short slate, where you have to have like that one guy. And as much pressure as they're going to get against this Washington team, we'll see. I don't know what to tell you. Favored by 11. Dak Prescott, regardless of how they've been favored or how much they've been up, they've been throwing the ball an awful lot. Against the Giants, 35 attempts. Against Carolina, 38 attempts. Against Philadelphia in a close game, 44 attempts. Multiple touchdowns in the last 4 games. Dak has really stepped up his efficiency, and this offense has stepped up its efficiency. At running back, Tony Pollard, another situation where he's home and favored and involved in the passing game, and we thought Rico Dowdle was going to be out, and the long national nightmare is over. Tony Pollard scored a touchdown, albeit it was one that they had to review because he might have been down. Luckily, his knee was on top of the defender and not on the ground. Very efficient on the ground. Solid usage through the air. He's in another smash spot this week against Washington. You just watched Saquon Barkley go off for 30 DraftKings points. Tony Pollard certainly in play. CD Lamb, 8,700. He's in that top tier range. If you look at like every single player on the slate, right? CD Lamb, 8,700. Christian McCaffrey, 8,700. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8,500. They are the 3 that are priced so high above everybody else that I think it's viable to make lineups for tournaments without any of them. If you're playing cash on Thanksgiving, I think you're going to have one of them. Take your pick which one it's going to be. That is a matter of taste. On Washington's side, Sam Howell's going to throw the football. They're going to drop him back 45 times. And while volume is not what totals to quarterback scoring in fantasy, he hasn't been inefficient. He adds a little bit of something like a sprinkle, like the Salt Bay, right? With his legs. So like he's adding something on the ground, and he's got enough competent pass catchers and a solid enough offense. If they can protect him just a little bit and he doesn't throw 3 interceptions, he has some really solid fantasy days in a game where you know they're going to probably play from behind, right? More often than not, high probability that they're going to be playing from behind in this game and in a solid pass game situation, which makes it very easy to kind of target him. The problem is they're going to target 9 and 10 guys. Whether it's going to be Terry McLaurin, Dotson, Samuel, De'Ami Brown, Crowder, the most price savings guy that we can get with a reliable role who's not fighting everybody else for targets is Logan Thomas, right? We haven't seen an explosion game from him. We've seen 2 games over 15 fantasy points on the year, but he brings you a solid floor at 3,500. And again, compared to all the other tight ends on the slate, it's like him and Musgrave at this range, and I probably like Thomas more at 3,500 unless you're going to pay up for Kittle or Laporta. Ferguson, priced even higher than him on lower volume, but obviously on a more potent offense, so to speak. The wide receivers are just kind of all over the place for Washington. 7 targets, 8 targets, 7 targets for McLaurin. I wish that he would get more service. Dotson up, down, 8, 10, 2, 4, like we don't know. Curtis Samuel gets ejected from the last game after 2 targets against the Giants. Jamison Crowder was kind of there, 6, 7, then down to 1 and 2. They're just all over the place. Who knows what they're going to do, what Bieniemy's going to dial up. You figure it out. Seattle presents us with the highest volume, best value play on the week. Zach Charbonnet, in relief of an oblique injury for Ken Walker, was very, very, very much unlocked with 21 opportunities post-injury in a loss to the Los Angeles Rams. This is a game where he should, if Ken Walker sits out, which I'm expecting him to, you're not going to rush him back out there to play in a game 4 days after he suffered an oblique injury. Give him the full 2 weeks off to get back from this one. So Charbonnet at 5,300 is a misprice based on the injury. If Ken Walker's there, right, then it kind of sinks things a little bit for Charbonnet. I don't think they play him, but I could be wrong. I'm not in the locker room. I don't make these decisions. I'm just saying that that's what kind of would make the most sense. Geno Smith has not had a fantastic year for fantasy. He definitely flashes ability from time to time. We've seen big games against Washington. We saw a big game against Detroit early in the year. And this is a game where San Francisco has been struggling against opposing wide receivers specifically. And if we look at what the 49ers have done, yeah, they're getting a lot of sacks, but they've given up a lot of catches and yards, partially because teams have to abandon the run because they're very strong up front. And now they've lost their safety, who's done really well this year as well. So that defensive backfield is a little bit weak. So attacking through Charbonnet, Metcalf at 6,500, Lockett at 6,000. If you like the new run that Jackson Smith and Jigba has gotten, 6 targets, 5 targets, 7 targets, they have definitely integrated the rookie more into things. The three-headed monster makes it a lot more dart throwy, with Metcalf finally having a really solid game with 20 fantasy points. He's been kind of waking up recently on volume. This trio is basically where you want to look, and the tight ends are a non-factor unless they catch a touchdown. On San Francisco, Brock Purdy, bounce back games for him. 3 in a row, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions the last 3 games against Cincinnati, Jacksonville, and Tampa Bay. He's not just beating up on the league's weaklings out there. He's actually putting up a solid season, albeit with the 2 games where he did not play very well against Minnesota and Cleveland. Cleveland is kind of the Russian judge. They're just really, really good on defense. So like Purdy did, back to doing his job. Just deliver the pizza, kid. Get the ball to Brandon, get the ball to Debo, get the ball to Kittle, get the ball to Christian McCaffrey, and stay out of everybody's way, and just deliver the pizza. It's great, right? And he's been doing it hot and fresh. 84%, 73%, 71% completion rate, and knowing where the ball's going to go. One, the ball's definitely going to go to Christian McCaffrey. Another 26 opportunities against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay extremely good at stopping the run, so don't worry about his yards per carry in this situation, as they are an extremely efficient defense. Seattle, way less efficient. I'm locking Christian McCaffrey into this lineup. However, let me put him in the flex for now because, it's late. It's the late game. On the other side of this, we have Brandon Ayuk at 7,000. We have Debo Samuel at 5,900. We need to find some value. And historically in daily fantasy, as players don't post great numbers, 0.6, 11, 1.1, 15.9, 9.2. 2 things happen. The price goes down, 6,900 back in week 4. The injury where he missed a few weeks, followed it up with 2 okay games, but not great on volume at all. Scored a touchdown on the ground against Jacksonville. His price has gone from 6,300 down to 59. Now, it's not a main slate, so everybody's percentages are going to be inflated for this one because it is a shorter slate, and that's what short slate football means to us in daily fantasy. But the percentage of people who want to hop on that train instead of chasing the ball around the roulette wheel and going for Brandon Ayuk's 29.6 points on 6 targets with a touchdown in the last 2 games, the amount of people happy to play Ayuk is going up. The amount of people who project to be on Debo Samuel is probably down from where it would have been if he had the big game this week. Give me Debo. Give me the pizza delivery guy. I'll take that trio out of this game. Let's bring it back with the 2 guys on Seattle because it's short slate and the rules are out the window. Give me Charbonnet and Lockett, leaving us with 4,500 to go for the rest of this. I got to get some of these 2 games in here. This is the lowest totaled game on the slate, although I think the volume is very concentrated on those players. Let's lock in the Lions defense. Playing your defense against your players on a short slate is also fine. I have 4,933 remaining, 14.8K for everything. I said I want him in the flex. That means I want him in the flex. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's going to be the higher snap guy, 55, 60%. We watched him get a first half inside the 5 carry that resulted in a touchdown. It is not 100% Montgomery's job anymore in goal to go situations, and we have to pay attention to that. At wide receiver, I need a little bit of value. The best value on Green Bay right now looks like it's Jaden Reed with a solid role, not only in the pass game where he's carved out 4, 6, 3, 5, 6 targets for only 4,200, but also being used on jet sweeps and reverses as well. 4,200, leaving us 3,800 for a tight end that we can go with. Can't afford Ferguson. I'm 100 away. Logan Thomas rounds this lineup out very, very well at 3,500. Make sure that you join the Discord at smizzle.tv/Discord if you wanted to keep up with all the news and have a full community of folks who love playing and talking about daily fantasy to help you get better at smizzle.tv/Discord. Look out for another video right there. He's a legend.